Ladies and gentlemen, when a man loves you, really loves you, it ain't just about the words. Anybody can talk, but when that man shows up, when he stands beside you, not just when the sun is shining, but when the storm rolls in, that's love. See, love isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout from the rooftops every single day. But you'll feel it. You'll feel it when he puts down his pride to hear you, when he sacrifices time, sleep, comfort, just to see that smile on your face. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's what a real man does. You'll know he loves you when he protects your peace more than he protects his ego, when he listens to you like your voice is the only sound that matters. Not just hearing your words, but reading between them, feeling your silence, understanding what hurts you, even when you don't say it out loud. Love from a man who's grown, who's healed, who's present. That kind of love doesn't run when things get tough. He stays. He fights with you, not against you. And he doesn't need to be perfect. He just needs to be honest. He's not afraid to let you see his wounds, his flaws, his fears. Because when a man loves you, he ain't trying to impress you. He's trying to connect with you on a soul level. And baby, that ain't found in just chemistry. That's found in commitment. He'll celebrate your wins louder than his own. He'll challenge your thinking, not because he wants control, but because he believes in your power. He sees your potential even when you doubt it, and he reminds you who you are when the world tries to make you forget. So don't be fooled by fast talk and smooth moves. Real love walks quiet but moves deep. When a man loves you, you'll know it. It won't feel like confusion. It won't feel like guessing games. It will feel like peace. And if it doesn't feel like peace, then it's not love. Because when a man loves you, it looks like this. When a man truly loves you, something shifts inside him. It's not just about gestures or romantic dates or saying, "I love you," at the right time. It's something deeper, quieter, more powerful. It's in the way he starts putting your needs before his own. Not because he has to, not because you asked him to, but because love reorders his priorities. Suddenly, your joy becomes his joy. Your peace becomes his mission. And your well-being sits at the top of his list, right above his own comfort. This kind of selfless love isn't about weakness or submission. It's about strength. It's about maturity. A man who's done the work, who knows who he is, who's not operating from insecurity or ego. He's the man who knows that putting your needs first is not losing himself, it's expanding himself. He's not keeping score. He's not holding back kindness to keep things even. He gives because it feels right, because it's natural, because your happiness is now part of his purpose. You'll see it in the little things. He remembers that you said you had a long day coming up, so he texts you in the morning with words that lift your spirit. He knows you're sensitive to being misunderstood, so he listens more carefully, speaks more clearly, and checks in to make sure you're okay. He watches your patterns. He pays attention. Not because he's trying to manipulate anything, but because he genuinely cares. And when a man cares with depth, your comfort, your needs, your dreams, they start to shape the decisions he makes. It's not about sacrifice in a dramatic way either. It's not always about giving up everything. Sometimes it's subtle. It's him skipping the night out with the guys because he knows you had a rough day and just want to talk. It's him driving across town to bring you the medicine you forgot to grab. It's him noticing you're tired and cooking dinner, even though he had a long day too. It's not grand, but it's real. He may put down his pride in moments when it's hard, just to keep peace with you. He may bend a little, let go of the need to win every argument, because your connection matters more than being right. He may adjust his routines, his schedule, his comfort zone, not because you asked, but because he saw a way to make your life easier, and he wanted to do it. Love inspires him to move with empathy, to think with your perspective in mind, to anticipate your needs, even when you haven't voiced them yet. And here's the thing, he doesn't lose himself in the process. Real men who love from a strong place don't disappear into someone else. They grow. They deepen. When a man puts your needs before his own, it's not about erasing who he is. It's about expressing more of who he is. His protective nature, his generosity, his compassion. Those traits rise to the surface and become visible. It's a reflection of the love he's developed inside. It's not performative. It's not transactional. It's just who he's become through loving you. He starts thinking ahead, planning for a future where your life is secure, not just his. He considers your emotional safety in everything he does. He avoids things that would make you feel small, unseen, or insecure. He prioritizes your peace, even when it costs him a little convenience or pride. And he doesn't throw it in your face, doesn't remind you of what he's doing for you, because it's not a favor, it's love. Even in difficult moments, when you're not your best, when you're tired or frustrated or unsure of yourself, he steps in with presence and patience. He holds space for you, lets you feel what you need to feel, and still chooses to be there. Your needs may shift, your emotions may change, but his willingness to support you stays the same. That's what happens when a man puts your needs before his own. It's not about being passive. It's not about forgetting himself. It's about being brave enough to love in a way that serves, protects, and uplifts you without hesitation. It's about showing up every day in big and small ways because your heart matters to him just as much, if not more, than his own comfort. When a man loves you deeply, one of the most powerful things he does is protect your peace. Not just your physical safety, but your emotional space, your mental clarity, and the quiet sense of balance you carry inside. He understands that peace is sacred. In a world full of noise, pressure, and chaos, he becomes your calm, your steady, your anchor. Protecting your peace isn't about fixing every problem or shielding you from every difficulty. It's about being intentional with his presence, careful with his words, and thoughtful about how his actions affect your energy. He doesn't bring unnecessary drama into your life. He doesn't create conflict to feel powerful. He doesn't push buttons just to see you react. A man who truly loves you values the way you feel when you're around him, so he pays attention to how he contributes to that atmosphere. He avoids behaviors that bring confusion, tension, or emotional turbulence. If he notices that something he's doing is draining you, he corrects it. Not because he's trying to be perfect, but because your peace means something to him, because your peace is part of how he measures whether he's loving you right. He doesn't play games with your emotions. No mixed signals, no hot and cold energy, no need to manipulate to keep control. He shows up consistently. He communicates clearly. He tells the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, because he knows that honesty is part of peace. He doesn't leave you guessing. He gives you the freedom to relax into the relationship without wondering where you stand. That emotional safety, that space to breathe without fear, is one of the most generous gifts he gives. When arguments happen, and they will, he doesn't fight to break you down. He doesn't weaponize your vulnerability or use your words against you later. He listens. He pauses before reacting. He fights for understanding instead of victory. He may disagree, he may feel frustrated, but he stays grounded. He chooses resolution over escalation. Even in conflict, he's trying to protect your peace, not from the outside world, but from his own anger, his own ego, his own urge to win. That kind of discipline comes from love. He pays attention to the things that make you anxious, that steal your rest. Maybe it's loud environments, people who drain your energy, or responsibilities that weigh too heavily. He doesn't try to fix all of it, but he becomes aware. He becomes someone who makes things easier, not harder. Someone who lifts the weight instead of adding more. He reminds you to rest, to slow down, to take care of yourself. And when you can't, he steps in, not to take control, but to support, to stabilize, to bring ease to your load. He creates a space where you can just be, where you don't have to perform, prove, or perfect anything, where you can exhale, let your guard down, and know that you're safe. A space where your tears are welcome, your laughter is celebrated, and your silence is understood. That's not just love, it's protection. Because peace isn't always loud. Sometimes it's in the way he looks at you like you're enough, in the way he touches your hand when words fail, in the way he just sits beside you, offering no solutions, just presence. He protects your peace by protecting his own too. He doesn't project his chaos onto you. He does the work. He reflects, heals, and takes responsibility for his emotional state. He understands that a man who hasn't faced his own demons can't help you fight yours. So he keeps himself grounded. He stays mindful of his energy before he brings it into your space. And when he falls short, he owns it. He apologizes. He grows. Because your peace isn't a burden to him. It's a shared priority. When others try to disrupt your balance, friends, family, work, the world, he becomes your defender. He speaks up for you, even when you're quiet. He stands beside you when you need backup. And sometimes he shields you from things you don't even know he's protecting you from, because he's watching out for your spirit. He sees the light in you, and he won't let anything or anyone dim it, not even himself. He understands that real love should feel like peace, not pressure. That love should bring clarity, not confusion. That you should sleep better at night because he's in your life, not worse. So he makes sure you do. Not with grand gestures, not with dramatic promises, but with steady, quiet commitment, with presence, with softness, with strength. He doesn't just love you loudly. He loves you gently. And that gentle love becomes your safe place in a world that so often forgets how much peace really matters. When a man truly loves you, he listens in a way that goes beyond hearing words. He listens deeply with his whole being, not just to respond, but to understand. There's a difference between someone who waits for their turn to talk and someone who absorbs what you're saying like it matters. And when he loves you, what you say does matter to him deeply. He tunes into your voice not just with his ears, but with his attention, his body language, his eyes, and most of all, with his heart. He listens to the words you speak and to the ones you don't know how to say. He hears the shift in your tone when you're tired, the pause in your sentence when you're holding back tears, the excitement in your breath when you're passionate about something. That kind of listening comes from love. When he listens deeply, you don't feel rushed or dismissed. He doesn't look at his phone while you're pouring your heart out. He doesn't cut you off or turn the conversation back to himself. He creates space for your thoughts. He gives you the floor, the moment, the spotlight, because he genuinely wants to know what's going on inside you. Whether you're venting about your day, sharing a dream, or revealing something vulnerable, he holds that space with respect. He doesn't try to fix you right away. He doesn't always have to offer solutions. Sometimes he just stays silent long enough for you to hear your own truth more clearly. That kind of stillness is rare, And when a man offers it, it means he sees your soul as worth knowing. You'll notice it in the little things. You might mention something small in passing. Your favorite kind of tea, a childhood memory, a fear you've never voiced aloud before. Weeks later, he brings the tea home after a long day, or he asks about that memory just because it stayed with him. Or he shows up when you're facing that fear, not with judgment, but with quiet courage. That's what deep listening looks like. It's retention, reflection, and response. It's not just taking in sound, it's carrying your voice with him, even when you're not speaking. He listens so well that he starts to understand not just your words, but your patterns. He learns what silence means when you're hurting. He knows when you need encouragement versus when you just need him to be there. He reads your energy, your rhythm, and respects the weight of your emotions. When you argue or have disagreements, he doesn't just wait to defend himself. He listens for the truth in your pain. Even if your delivery isn't perfect, even if you say things emotionally, he tries to hear the heart behind the words. He listens to your fears, not to use them later, but to understand what makes you feel safe, what triggers insecurity, what makes you pull away or come close. He listens to grow closer, not to gain control. He doesn't weaponize your vulnerability. He honors it. That level of listening builds trust. It builds intimacy that's not just physical, but emotional, spiritual, and mental. It's the kind of connection that feels like home. When you talk about your dreams, no matter how big, wild, or uncertain, he doesn't laugh them off. He listens with belief. He asks questions that help you dig deeper. He reminds you of your capability when you start to doubt. He listens like your vision matters, like your purpose is not just yours, but something he wants to support too. Because when a man loves you, your voice becomes part of his internal world. He listens to it because it shapes how he sees you, how he shows up for you, how he walks beside you in life. Even in silence, he's listening. When you're quiet, withdrawn, or distant, he doesn't just assume the worst. He leans in gently. He notices. He asks not out of suspicion, but out of care. And if you don't want to talk right away, he respects that. But he doesn't stop paying attention. That awareness, being attuned to your unspoken needs, is a powerful form of love. It says, I see you even when you're silent. I hear you even when you whisper. I value what's inside you enough to slow down and listen. Deep listening is more than communication. It's connection. It's safety. It's being held without being touched. And when a man loves you in this way, you never have to raise your voice to be heard. You never have to fight for a place in his world because he's already made room. In his mind, in his heart, in the way he listens and listens deeply, you know you matter. When a man truly loves you, one of the most powerful things he offers isn't flashy or dramatic. It's consistency. It's not about saying the right thing once or showing up big one day and disappearing the next. It's about being there, day in and day out, in the quiet, steady ways that build trust over time. He's not just present when it's convenient. He doesn't show affection when the mood strikes, and then retreat when things get real. When a man loves you, he's consistent in how he shows up, in what he says, and in how he makes you feel. Consistency is his way of creating emotional safety. It's how you start to believe in the connection without second guessing. You're not left wondering if today he's going to be warm and tomorrow distant. You're not stuck in cycles of confusion, trying to decode mixed signals. He removes that guessing game. He shows up the same way, whether it's Monday morning or Saturday night. Whether life is calm or chaotic, whether you're laughing or crying, his presence is stable. He doesn't just talk about being reliable. He proves it over and over again through his actions. He keeps his word. If he says he's going to call, he calls. If he says he'll be there, he's there. And when something comes up, he communicates. He doesn't vanish and resurface with excuses. He values your time, your trust, your emotional investment. He knows consistency isn't about grand declarations. It's about small actions repeated with care. He understands that showing love once doesn't mean much if it isn't followed by more love, more effort, more truth. His consistency tells you, you can count on me, not just once, but always. In his emotional responses, he's stable. He doesn't lash out in anger today and then apologize tomorrow only to do it again next week. He doesn't give you affection one day and coldness the next. He doesn't create a roller coaster of highs and lows that leave you dizzy and unsure. Instead, he brings a sense of calm. You know where you stand with him. His love doesn't fluctuate based on how hard his day was or how you looked that morning or whether you agreed with him. It's grounded. It's secure. It's not shaken by temporary discomfort. Consistency also means showing up in the relationship during the mundane times. Not every day is exciting. Not every moment is filled with butterflies. But he's still there, still calling, still asking how you are, still paying attention to the details. He doesn't need everything to be perfect to stay connected. He doesn't disappear when life feels ordinary. In fact, it's in those everyday moments that his love becomes most visible. He remembers what matters to you. He follows through on the things he said he'd do, even when there's no audience to applaud him. He's also consistent with how he treats you in public and in private. He doesn't put on a show in front of others and act different behind closed doors. Who he is doesn't change based on who's watching. His love is authentic. Whether it's just the two of you or a room full of people, he's steady in his kindness, in his attentiveness, in his respect. That consistency builds deep trust because you never have to wonder which version of him you're going to get. Even when life gets hard, when there are challenges, stress, or disagreements, he doesn't check out. He doesn't disappear emotionally. He doesn't run. He faces things with you. He stays engaged. He works through the tension. He communicates, listens, and moves toward resolution, not away from the relationship. That kind of consistency in the hard moments is what separates a temporary presence from a lasting one. It's easy to be consistent when everything's good. The real measure of love is when he remains solid when things aren't easy. His consistency also gives you permission to be open. You start to let your guard down. You share more of yourself. You begin to relax into the relationship because you've seen that he doesn't leave when things get tough, that he doesn't change based on mood or convenience. You trust not just his words, but his patterns, because they align, because they're real. And when a man gives you that kind of consistency, you stop questioning your worth. You stop wondering if you're too much or not enough. His steady presence reminds you that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, that you are safe. That love doesn't have to feel like chaos. It can feel like calm. It can feel like rhythm. It can feel like someone choosing you over and over again without hesitation, without needing to be reminded. Because love, when it's real, is consistent. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't just admire who you are. He believes in who you can become. His love isn't passive. It's active, alive, and deeply invested in your growth. He sees your potential even when you don't. He sees the fire in you that you sometimes forget. And instead of just standing back and watching, he challenges you to grow. Not in a controlling or critical way, but in a way that's rooted in love, respect, and faith in your strength. He holds up a mirror to the best parts of you, even when you feel like you're stuck or playing small. He doesn't let you settle, not for comfort, not for fear, not for the version of yourself that plays it safe. He reminds you of your power when you're doubting yourself. He calls out your excuses, not to shame you, but to awaken you. He knows that real love is not about enabling stagnation. It's about supporting evolution. So he asks the questions that make you think deeper. He gives the honest feedback others might be too afraid to say. And he does it all while standing beside you, never above you. Because when he challenges you to grow, it's not about superiority, it's about partnership. He celebrates your wins, but he also holds space for your lessons. When you fall short or face a setback, he doesn't judge. He encourages reflection, not regret. He helps you find the learning in the loss, the strength in the struggle. He doesn't pity you or pretend everything is okay when it's not. He challenges you to face the hard truths, to take responsibility, to stretch beyond what's comfortable, because he wants to see you rise, and he knows you can. This kind of love is bold. It requires courage, not just from him, but from you. Because when a man truly loves you and challenges you to grow, he won't always tell you what you want to hear. He'll tell you what you need to hear with compassion and clarity. He'll tell you when you're playing it too safe, when you're shrinking yourself, when you're hiding from your own brilliance. And it might sting sometimes. But you'll feel the difference. He's not tearing you down. He's lifting you toward your higher self. His challenge is love in action. He holds high standards for himself, and he invites you to do the same, not through pressure, but through example. You watch how he carries himself, how he takes accountability for his life, how he keeps learning, improving, stretching. His growth mindset is contagious. It inspires you. He's not just pushing you to grow while staying the same. He's evolving with you. And together you rise. You challenge each other. You sharpen each other. You become mirrors, not of perfection, but of purpose. He encourages you to dream bigger. He listens to your ideas and then asks, what's the next step? He doesn't let your fear drive the conversation. He reminds you of your why. He might help you map out a plan, offer resources, introduce you to new perspectives. Not because he's trying to control your path, but because he genuinely believes in it. He sees your vision as something worthy of support. And when your confidence wavers, he steadies it. When you want to quit, he reminds you why you started. And even when your growth leads you in directions that feel unfamiliar, he doesn't cling out of insecurity. He gives you room to evolve. He understands that love isn't ownership, it's expansion. So when you start becoming more of yourself, he doesn't try to shrink you back into who you were. He adjusts, adapts, and keeps choosing you even as you change. That kind of love is rare. It's not about control or comfort. It's about courage. There will be moments when his challenge feels uncomfortable. Growth always is. But deep down, you'll know it's rooted in care. Because he's not challenging you for his benefit. He's doing it for yours. For the woman you're becoming. For the light in you that's meant to shine brighter. And as you grow, he stands right there with you, not intimidated by your rise, but inspired by it. Not afraid of your strength, but proud of it. When a man loves you like this, he becomes more than a partner. He becomes a catalyst. Someone who doesn't just love the version of you today, but is already cheering for the version of you tomorrow. His love pushes you to bloom, not because you aren't already enough, but because he knows there's more in you that the world needs to see. That's what it means when he challenges you to grow. It's not pressure, it's purpose. It's not force, it's faith. And it's one of the clearest signs of a love that's real, deep, and built to last. When a man truly loves you, one of the most powerful and courageous things he can do is be vulnerable with you. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's strength in its most honest form. It's him opening the doors to his soul, letting you see past the surface, past the pride, and into the places he's kept guarded for years. When he loves you, he slowly lets those walls come down. He doesn't just show you the polished version of himself. He shows you the real one. The one with fears, insecurities, past wounds, and present doubts. The one who sometimes questions if he's enough, if he's doing this right, if he can be the man you need. And he shares those thoughts not because he wants reassurance, but because he trusts you with his truth. He doesn't wear a mask around you. He doesn't pretend to have all the answers or carry the world on his shoulders without flinching. He lets you see the cracks in his armor. He lets you hear the silence between his words. He allows you into the emotional spaces most people never get close to. And in doing so, he gives you the most intimate kind of love. The kind rooted in honesty, not performance. You'll notice it in the way he tells you about his childhood. Not just the good memories, but the painful ones too. The stories that shaped him, the heartbreaks that hardened him, the moments that made him question his worth. He shares those not because he's looking for sympathy, but because he wants you to understand the layers beneath the man you see. When something's wrong, he doesn't always retreat into silence. He leans into conversation, even if it's hard. He tells you when he's hurting, when he's scared, when he's unsure. Not every time and not perfectly, but intentionally. He makes an effort to let you in, even when it's uncomfortable. That effort is love. Vulnerability takes effort because for many men, it wasn't taught. It had to be unlearned. He had to fight the message that said being open is soft, that expressing emotion is a sign of weakness. So when he breaks through that and shares his heart with you, it means everything. It means you've earned a place in his world where few people have ever been allowed. He doesn't just talk about emotions. He feels them in front of you. Maybe he cries. Maybe his voice shakes. Maybe he goes quiet, not out of distance, but because the emotions are too big for words at that moment. And instead of hiding that, he lets you witness it. He trusts you enough to be fully human around you. And in that rawness, love grows, because vulnerability breeds connection. It deepens intimacy. It says, I'm not afraid for you to see me, even when I'm not strong. That's a sacred kind of love. His vulnerability also creates space for yours. Because he's willing to be real, you feel safe to be real too. You let go of the need to be perfect. You stop guarding your own heart so tightly. His openness invites yours. And together, you create something rare, an emotional partnership that's grounded in truth, not fear. A relationship where you both can grow, knowing that neither of you has to hide behind a mask. Sometimes his vulnerability comes in quiet moments. A deep sigh, a look in his eyes, the way he pulls you close after a long day. It's in how he says, I need you, or I'm not okay right now. It's in how he lets you help him, even when he's used to doing everything on his own. It's in how he lets his guard down not just once, but again and again, choosing openness over self-protection. That repetition is love in practice. Vulnerability also means he's willing to say sorry. He owns his mistakes. He doesn't deflect or defend out of ego. He reflects. He apologizes. He asks how he can be better. That kind of accountability only comes from someone who's done the work to be emotionally present. He's not afraid to admit he was wrong because he values the relationship more than being right. And that humility, that willingness to be imperfect in front of you, is one of the truest signs of love. When a man loves you and chooses to be vulnerable, he's not just giving you his heart, he's giving you access to the most protected parts of his identity. And not because you demand it, but because you've shown him that it's safe to do so. Because you've shown him that love doesn't require perfection. It only asks for truth. Vulnerability is his way of saying, I trust you to see me, all of me. And when he gives you that trust, he's not just showing love, he's living it. When a man truly loves you, he doesn't just admire you quietly or appreciate you in silence. He celebrates you. He lifts you up with his words, his actions, his presence. Your wins become his wins. Your joy becomes his joy. And he doesn't wait for big moments to make you feel special. He finds reasons to honor who you are even in the smallest details. He notices what makes you unique, and he speaks life into it. It's not just about the way you look or what you've accomplished. It's about your heart, your mind, your soul, and how you carry yourself through the world. He sees your light even when you don't, and he reminds you of it every chance he gets. He tells you you're beautiful, not just when you're dressed up, but when you're being fully yourself, when you're working hard, when you're resting, when you're dreaming, when you're doubting. He celebrates your essence, not just your image. He sees how much you give, how deeply you care, how hard you try, and he makes sure you know it doesn't go unnoticed. He points out the things about you that others miss, the way you light up a room, the kindness in your voice, the strength behind your softness. He's your biggest cheerleader. When you succeed, he doesn't shrink or feel threatened. He steps back and claps the loudest. He brags about you not to show off, but because he's genuinely proud. Whether you land a new job, hit a goal, or make progress on something important to you, he's there beaming with pride. He posts you, talks about you, tells his people about the incredible woman he gets to love. And when life gives you a reason to celebrate yourself, he makes sure you take it. He encourages you to pause and enjoy the moment, to see how far you've come, to acknowledge your own growth. But it's not just about big wins. He celebrates your spirit every day. He tells you how much he admires your resilience, your creativity, your sense of humor, your passion, your faith. He uplifts your voice. He supports your vision. He lets you know your presence in his life is a gift. It's not a performance to him. It's a privilege. And he shows that through consistency, through intentionality, through thoughtful words that leave no doubt in your mind that he values who you are. He also celebrates your differences. He doesn't try to change the parts of you that don't mirror him. He honors your individuality, your background, your perspective. He listens, learns, and leans in. Even when you disagree, he respects the fire in your spirit. He doesn't feel the need to dim it. If anything, he helps you protect it. Because he sees your brilliance as something to amplify, not compete with. He understands that real love isn't about control. It's about celebration of uniqueness. And when you're hard on yourself, when you doubt your worth or second, guess your decisions, he steps in with gentle reminders. He speaks truth into your insecurities. He helps you see the best in yourself when you've forgotten how. He reminds you of your accomplishments, your intentions, your heart. He doesn't fix you. He lifts you. He doesn't make you dependent. He empowers you. That is what it looks like when love celebrates instead of critiques. He even celebrates your growth. He notices when you're healing, when you're learning, when you're evolving. He sees the internal work and acknowledges it with the same admiration he gives to external achievements. He encourages your journey, not rushing you, but honoring every step. He knows the difference between empty praise and heartfelt recognition. And when he looks at you with that kind of love, you feel seen, you feel known, you feel celebrated. He also celebrates your presence in his life. He tells you how thankful he is for you, not just once, but regularly. He expresses gratitude for the love you give, the peace you bring, the laughter you share. He doesn't take you for granted. He sees your value, and he makes sure you know it. Whether it's through a simple message, a thoughtful gesture, or an unexpected compliment, he keeps reminding you, you matter. You're amazing. I'm lucky to love you. And it's not performative. It's consistent. It doesn't fade after the honeymoon phase. It grows deeper with time. He never stops seeing you with wonder. Never stops appreciating the woman you are. In his eyes, you are worthy of celebration, not just sometimes, but always. And when a man loves you like that, loves you loudly, proudly, sincerely, it changes the way you see yourself. You stand taller. You speak more boldly. You walk with more confidence. Not because he completes you, but because his love reflects the truth you already carry within, that you are worthy, that you are radiant, that you are worth celebrating every single day. When a man truly loves you, he stays when it's hard, not just when everything is easy, light, and joyful, but when the weight of life hits, when the storms come, when you're not your best, when he's not his best, and when the road between you feels uncertain. His love doesn't disappear at the first sign of struggle. He doesn't walk away because things got complicated. He stays, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. That's when love is tested, and that's when his presence speaks louder than any words. When things get rough, whether it's external challenges or internal conflict, he doesn't go silent and he doesn't retreat. He shows up. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not knowing all the answers, but he stays emotionally, mentally, and physically. He leans in rather than checking out. He tries to understand rather than placing blame. Even when he's frustrated, confused, or hurt, he still chooses to be there. Because love, real love, isn't about convenience. It's about commitment. It's about choosing the person over and over again, even when the path is unclear. He stays through your bad days, through your tears, through the moments when you feel like you're falling apart. He doesn't just comfort you with surface words. He holds space for your emotions, for your fears, for the things you struggle to say out loud. He doesn't try to fix everything right away, but he doesn't run from your pain either. He sits with you in it. He makes it known that your broken moments don't scare him, that you can be fully human, fully vulnerable, fully real, and still be deeply loved. When disagreements arise, he doesn't shut down. He doesn't weaponize silence or walk out just to make a point. He communicates even when it's hard. He listens even when the conversation is uncomfortable. He works through it, not around it. And when he messes up, when he says something wrong or reacts from a place of emotion, he owns it. He apologizes. He reflects. He stays in the conversation because preserving the relationship matters more to him than protecting his pride. He stays when life tests both of you, when money is tight, when the future feels uncertain, when family issues surface, or when external stress starts creeping into the relationship. He doesn't use pressure as a reason to check out. Instead, he becomes more present. He shows that he's in it with you, that your burdens are his too, that whatever comes, you'll face it together. You don't have to go through it alone because he's walking beside you. There are moments when love requires patience, when it means standing in silence instead of fixing the situation, when it means holding your hand while you're still figuring things out. He understands that, and he embraces it. He doesn't rush your healing or invalidate your process. He doesn't make you feel like a burden. He sees you flawed, emotional, exhausted, and he still chooses you again and again. That kind of staying power is rare. It's sacred. And when he's the one struggling, when he's tired, when he's feeling low, when he's unsure of himself, he doesn't push you away out of shame. He allows you to support him. He lets you into his difficult moments, and he receives your love with humility. Because staying isn't just about him being there for you. It's about allowing you to be there for him too. It's mutual. It's reciprocal. It's a shared resilience. He stays when misunderstandings happen, when the chemistry feels off, or when life simply pulls you in different directions. He doesn't panic and assume the worst. He holds on to the foundation you've built. He remembers why he fell in love in the first place. He reminds you of it, and he grounds himself in it. And even if things feel distant or disconnected, he doesn't let that become permanent. He fights for connection. He chooses closeness even when it takes work. His staying is not passive, it's active. It's full of effort, intention, and grace. It looks like showing up to difficult conversations. It looks like a late night talk after a long day. It looks like choosing forgiveness when it would be easier to hold a grudge. It looks like believing in the relationship even when things feel shaky. And in doing that, he shows what love is made of, not just butterflies or passion, but grit, loyalty, and depth. When he stays during the hard seasons, he's saying, "You're worth it." Not just when things are smooth and sweet, but when they're messy and real. He's not just there for the highlights. He's committed to the entire journey. He doesn't fear the difficult chapters because he knows that love deepens in them. He stays not because it's easy, but because it's right. Because love, when it's true, doesn't run from the fire. It learns how to walk through it together. When a man truly loves you, he sees your flaws, not as reasons to turn away, but as parts of the whole person he chooses to embrace. He doesn't expect perfection because he knows it doesn't exist. He understands that everyone has imperfections, quirks, and moments of weakness. Instead of judging or criticizing, he looks beyond the surface and values you for who you really are. He sees your flaws as pieces of your story, not flaws in your worth. He loves the real you, the messy, complicated, beautiful you. He notices the things you might be self-conscious about, the habits you wish you could change, the mistakes you've made, and the ways you sometimes fall short. And rather than using those things against you or trying to fix you, he accepts them. He accepts that you're human and that your flaws don't define you. In his eyes, they're part of what makes you unique and authentic. He sees your flaws with kindness and compassion, not as flaws to be exploited or reasons to walk away. Because true love is unconditional. It doesn't require you to hide or pretend. When he sees your flaws, he also recognizes your efforts. He sees the ways you work on yourself, the growth you pursue, and the ways you strive to be better. He doesn't expect perfection overnight, and he's patient with the process. He understands that growth is a journey, not a destination, and he celebrates your progress, no matter how small. Instead of focusing only on what needs improvement, he appreciates how far you've come. That perspective is part of what makes his love so deep and lasting. His acceptance of your flaws creates a safe space where you can be fully yourself without fear of judgment. You don't have to pretend or wear a mask around him. You can show up with all your vulnerabilities and imperfections and still be loved fiercely. That kind of acceptance gives you the freedom to heal, to grow, and to shine. You start to believe in yourself more because you know someone else sees your worth, even on your hardest days. You learn to be gentler with yourself because his love teaches you how to be. When conflicts arise, or when your flaws cause friction, he approaches the situation with empathy rather than anger. He doesn't dismiss your feelings or make you feel like you're too much. Instead, he listens and tries to understand where you're coming from. He doesn't hold your flaws over your head as weapons in arguments. He addresses challenges with respect and care. He knows that flaws aren't excuses for mistreatment, but invitations to deeper understanding. And he's willing to do the work because he values you and the relationship. He also shows you what it means to be loved despite imperfections by being open about his own flaws. He doesn't pretend to be flawless or perfect. He lets you see his mistakes, insecurities, and areas where he struggles. That mutual vulnerability creates a bond built on realness. When he shows you his flaws without shame, it encourages you to do the same. You grow together in a space where authenticity is treasured more than appearances. Seeing your flaws doesn't mean he overlooks red flags or unhealthy behavior, but he differentiates between flaws and deal breakers. He knows the difference between loving the person and accepting toxic patterns. His love is wise and discerning, rooted in respect and care. He supports your growth while holding healthy boundaries for both of you. This balance shows that love that sees flaws is not blind, it's clear-eyed and committed to what's best for both people. He also knows that your flaws don't erase your strengths. In fact, he sees how your imperfections make you resilient, compassionate, and real. He admires your ability to keep going, to show up despite your struggles, and to love even when you feel broken. He understands that perfection is a myth, but love grounded in acceptance is very real. And he chooses that love every day. Because he sees your flaws and loves you anyway, you learn what it truly means to be loved for who you are, not who you're supposed to be. That love heals old wounds and breaks down walls. It empowers you to live authentically, to embrace your whole self, and to give love freely in return. His acceptance is a gift, a reminder that you are enough exactly as you are. When a man loves without ego, his love becomes a powerful force rooted in humility and selflessness, rather than pride and selfishness. Loving without ego means he does not seek to dominate or control the relationship. He does not need to be right all the time or have the upper hand. Instead, he approaches love with an open heart, ready to give, to listen, and to understand without making it about himself. His focus isn't on boosting his own image or protecting his pride. It's on nurturing the connection and the well-being of both partners. Loving without ego means he is willing to set aside his need for validation or superiority. He doesn't keep score, hold grudges, or bring up past mistakes to win arguments. He knows that love is not a competition, and he refuses to let his ego sabotage something precious. When conflicts arise, he doesn't become defensive or closed off. Instead, he listens carefully and genuinely considers your perspective. He values harmony over being right because he understands that the relationship is bigger than any single disagreement. He is humble enough to admit when he's wrong. That's one of the clearest signs that ego is not driving his love. He doesn't fear vulnerability or embarrassment. Instead, he takes responsibility for his actions and words, even when it's uncomfortable. By doing so, he creates an environment where trust can flourish. You don't have to walk on eggshells or guard your heart because he demonstrates through his humility that mistakes don't diminish love. They offer chances to grow closer. When he loves without ego, he genuinely celebrates your achievements without feeling threatened. He delights in your success as if it were his own, because he does not see your light as a reflection on his own worth. His joy in your happiness is sincere and abundant. This kind of love fosters a partnership where both people can thrive individually and together. He supports your dreams, encourages your ambitions, and never tries to dim your shine to protect his own ego. Loving without ego also means he doesn't expect you to change to fit a certain mold or to meet unrealistic standards. He accepts you as you are, with all your strengths and imperfections. He doesn't try to fix you or mold you into someone else to feed his own sense of control or superiority. Instead, he respects your individuality and supports your growth on your terms. That respect comes from a place of love, not ego. This type of love manifests in everyday acts of kindness and generosity. He doesn't keep track of who did what or expect something in return for his efforts. His love flows freely because it's not transactional. When he shows up to support you, it's because he wants to, not because he wants praise or to feel like a hero. His gestures, big or small, come from a genuine place of care without any strings attached. He also listens without interrupting or dismissing your feelings. Loving without ego means valuing your voice as much as his own. He doesn't talk over you to assert dominance or shut down your perspective. He listens deeply because he recognizes that your thoughts and emotions are important. This creates a safe space where you feel heard, validated, and cherished. When challenges arise, he approaches them with patience and grace rather than defensiveness or blame. He focuses on solving problems together instead of shifting fault or protecting his pride. Loving without ego means prioritizing the relationship over individual ego battles. He understands that the goal isn't to win arguments, but to strengthen the bond. He is generous with forgiveness because his love isn't driven by ego. He doesn't hold grudges or keep track of faults. Instead, he offers grace and second chances, understanding that everyone makes mistakes. His forgiveness is sincere and healing because it's not a tool for manipulation or control. It's an expression of his deep commitment and compassion. When a man loves without ego, he creates a partnership built on mutual respect, trust, and authenticity. He encourages you to be your full self without fear of judgment or rejection. His love invites openness, vulnerability, and growth. He isn't concerned with how love looks to others or how it benefits him personally. He loves simply because he loves. This kind of love transforms the way you see yourself and relationships. It teaches you that love is not about power or winning, but about giving, receiving, and growing together. It shows you that humility and selflessness are not signs of weakness, but the truest expressions of strength. Loving without ego means choosing connection over control, compassion over pride, and unity over division. And when you experience love like that, you know what it means to be truly cherished. When you look at love through this lens, the kind of love where a man puts your needs before his own, protects your peace, listens deeply, stays consistent, challenges you to grow, shows vulnerability, celebrates you, stays when it's hard, sees your flaws, and loves without ego, you begin to understand what real, lasting love truly looks like. It's not about perfection or grand gestures alone. It's about commitment, respect, humility, and unwavering presence through every season of life. This love builds you up, accepts you fully, and chooses you every day, reminding you that you are worthy of a deep, genuine connection. That kind of love transforms not just the relationship, but the way you see yourself and the world around you. It's the foundation for a partnership rooted in trust, growth, and unshakable devotion.